Hey ladies, welcome to the Foundation channel. I am Tanya Cortez, and on this channel I talk about everything foundation and complexion for more mature skin. So listen, today we're going to be talking about affordable drugstore foundation. Now I know on this channel we normally talk about more higher end foundations and everything because some of us have textured skin, larger pores, some fine lines and wrinkles. Our skin might not be as firm. So sometimes people think that higher end foundations are better, but that's not necessarily the case. You know, these drugstore foundations are really starting to show up, and they are really giving some of these higher end foundations a run for their money. So I mean, the bottom line is if you're my age, you know that all we had when I was growing up was drugstore foundation. So, and I know if you've ever watched this channel, I know you've heard me mention before that when I was growing up, I used to wear Posner, gold and bronze, honey. I would get the liquid and the pressed powder. They would come in like a compact, like something like this. something like that. It would come in a compact, and I would go home, put on my little foundation with my fingers, because we didn't have brushes and all of that. We didn't have none of that beauty blenders and stuff like that. I would put my little foundation on. These girls got liners and tons of lipsticks and lip glosses and contours and highlighters and all that kind of stuff. I had one lipstick. It was my cream blush and my lipstick. I had one liner. It was my lip liner and my eyeliner, girl. And I would put that eyeliner around my lips, girl. Put on me some red lipsticks, go like that. Girl, ombre. Girl, these little young girls is paid $300 wigs and all of that, girl. I had a drugstore foundation and a homemade hairstyle. You remember, you put them pink rollers in your hair, girl, roll them up, go to sleep at night, take them out, take your rollers out, girl. The lines be still in your hair from where the rollers were, girl. Fluff your hair up. Put your drugstore foundation on, girl, and your little eyeliner, little cream blush and all of that. And you was cute. You were cute. You remember that drugstore foundation. Girl, look to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, I had a drugstore foundation and a homemade hairstyle. And you know I'm not lying. So drugstore foundation is near and dear to my heart. If you want to see what these affordable foundations look like, then stay tuned. Roll the credits. So we're going to be talking about 4 foundations that are affordable. Some of these I already had in my collection, and a couple of them that are not in my collection anymore, but I have worn them in the past. So I'm going to tell you about these foundations, and with hopes that maybe you'll try them. All these foundations are good work foundations. There's a couple of them that would look really, really nice to wear out at night, you know, but they're really, really versatile, very, very inexpensive. I'll put the prices in the video on this side or this side, whichever one it ends up being on, okay? But the first one that we're going to talk about is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Skin Milk, and this is what this looks like, okay? And this is a good foundation. This foundation reminds me of the Sephora Clean foundation. It comes in a bottle just like that, and that one is $20 from Sephora, so still affordable, but this one is straight from the drugstore. This one has a nice finish. It is more of a dewy finish. It doesn't cover a lot of hyperpigmentation, but this, if you don't have a lot of hyperpigmentation, this will be pretty on your skin. If you have dry skin and you like more dewy foundations, this will be nice. This looks nice on texture. Doesn't really accent it unless you unless you wear it unset. It can accent it a little, but if you set it with a nice light powder, it looks very, very nice. It looks great on pores, all that kind of stuff. This is a really, really good one. This one is CoverGirl Outlast Extreme 3-in-1 foundation, full coverage, SPF 18. This one is a nice full coverage. It's like a satin matte, semi-matte kind of. Looks great on the skin. For it to be a full coverage foundation, it doesn't look dry and cakey and anything like that. It's just a nice foundation. It looks great on my pores. It looked really good on my texture. It does have a nice long wear. I wore this for about 11 hours, you know, during a work day. So I wore this and it lasted all day. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't get shiny, because I did get shiny. I have combination of oily skin. So I did get a little shiny in my T-zone, and I did have to touch up about after 3 to 4 hours. I did. But all that I did was take a little sponge. I dabbed it in here, just kind of worked out a little bit of settling, because you might get some settling in your fine lines and in your around your nose or so, if you usually settle around it, you know, if your foundation settles there normally. But so mine does sometimes, so I just, you know, do it that way. But if you don't have that kind of concern, then you should be good with this. It covers hyperpigmentation very well. If you don't have any, this is going to be great. This is good for dry skin and oily skin. If you're dry and you want to use this, just use a normal primer. Don't use a radiant primer, because then you don't want to end up, I mean, listen, unless you have really, really dry skin, you know your skin and you know what's going to work for you and what's not. The next one is the Catrice True Matte Skin, True Skin, and this is a hydrating foundation with hyaluronic acid, and it's a long wearing foundation, which is very, very true. Now with this foundation, I did wear it with a mattifying primer, because it states that it was you know, more of a hydrating foundation. But I really didn't have to. I could have just wore this with a normal primer. I wear everything with a mattifying primer, just about, because I do have the oily T-zone and everything. But if you have dry skin, you only need a normal primer with this. This is very long wearing. You know, don't get this under your eyes though, because it will crease under your eyes. So if you're going to use this, use your concealer, whatever concealer you're using, and just use this on your face. But this one is a good one, perfect for work. Now I said, you know, I'm gonna go to Ulta and try to find the cheapest foundation that I could try and see what it looks like. Now this foundation I have never worn. I did a wear test for this before doing this video for 2 days, because I wanted to see what it was going to be like on my skin. So this is called the NYX Total Control Pro foundation, and guys, that is what I am wearing right now. This little baby, this little cheap thing is really good. It looks great on my pores. It didn't accent my texture. I set it with a light powder. It looks great not set, and it also looks very good set. It played well with, I used it with a couple different primers, and it just looked really, really nice. Now in these pictures that I've been putting up in this video so that you can see what these foundations look like, all of them are lightly set with a Fit Me loose powder, which is a great drugstore powder. Now, I mean, you can use that with any foundation. Like, that's just a good powder, period, whether it's drugstore or not, and it's affordable. And I'm going to give an honorable mention, and that's this NYX Bear With Me Luminous Tinted Skin Serum. This is another one. So if you have dry skin, you're gonna like this one. You'll really like this one. This is really, really dewy, really, really hydrating. It is just what it says. It's a serum foundation. It really does feel like a serum foundation, but you know, I wouldn't recommend this for someone who has oily skin, but I would recommend it for someone who has dry skin. It is slippery. It takes a little bit to kind of dry down. It just takes a little bit, but I think you would like this if you have dry skin. So guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you like the video, please thumbs it up. If you want to subscribe and you like the kind of thing I'm doing here on the channel, then please subscribe. So guys, remember, it all starts with the base, and you guys stay safe. Bye.